During the era of the Third Reich, the Nazi regime developed an intense and systematic interest in religious relics, mystical artifacts, and objects associated with both Christian and ancient Germanic traditions, driven by a combination of ideological ambition, pseudo-historical curiosity, and occult fascination. This pursuit was closely tied to the regime's overarching goals of constructing a narrative of Aryan supremacy and divine destiny, in which the Third Reich was portrayed as the rightful heir to a sacred European heritage. The Nazis believed that possessing these relics could not only lend legitimacy to their rule, but also imbue them with spiritual power capable of influencing the fate of the nation. The methods employed to locate and acquire these relics were diverse and often intertwined with academic, military, and esoteric practices. Historical research played a central role as scholars, often co-opted by the SS, combed through archives, monastic records, and medieval manuscripts to trace the supposed locations of legendary objects such as the Holy Grail or the Spear of Destiny, the lance said to have pierced the side of Christ. Archaeological expeditions were organized under the supervision of Heinrich Himmler and the Ahnenerbe, the SS's Institute for Ancestral Heritage, to explore ancient burial sites, churches, monasteries, castles, and other sites of historical significance. These expeditions were meticulously planned and involved the use of both scientific methods, such as careful excavation and cataloging, and more mystical techniques, including runology, astrology, and divination, which were believed to help pinpoint hidden or sacred objects. In addition to academic research and fieldwork, the Nazis frequently relied on direct confiscation and theft. Churches, monasteries, and private collections, particularly in occupied territories such as Poland, France, Belgium, and Italy, were systematically searched and looted for relics, manuscripts, and other religious artifacts. Iconic sites associated with medieval orders, such as former Templar strongholds and castles, were of particular interest as they were thought to contain treasures or objects of mystical power, including the Grail itself. Even ruins in remote locations were not overlooked, as the Nazis believed that sacred objects could be hidden in places imbued with historical or spiritual significance. The personnel involved in these searches were drawn from a wide range of backgrounds. The Ahnenerbe provided a core team of historians, archaeologists, anthropologists, and occult scholars who combined academic rigor with esoteric exploration. SS officers coordinated the operations, providing both leadership and security, while the Wehrmacht and other military units often supplied logistical support and enforcement, especially during the seizure of relics from occupied territories. In some cases, experts in church history and art were brought in to authenticate relics and assess their historical or symbolic value, while certain SS members engaged in rituals and mystical practices in the hope of gaining guidance or favor from supernatural forces. Locations within Germany and Austria, including cathedrals, monasteries, and private collections, were prime targets, but the scope of the searches extended across Europe, reflecting the Nazis' belief that sacred Germanic and Christian heritage was not confined to the Reich's borders. Sites linked to the Knights Templar, legendary Christian relics, and ancient fortresses were carefully examined, with the Spear of Destiny, the Grail, and even objects connected to Charlemagne or early Christian saints among the primary focuses of their obsession. These operations were often documented in photographs, reports, and personal diaries of the SS personnel, providing evidence of both the meticulous planning involved and the ideological zeal that underpinned the entire enterprise. The Nazi pursuit of religious relics was therefore a unique intersection of ideology, scholarship, and occultism, reflecting a regime that sought to merge historical legitimacy with mystical authority. It demonstrated how deeply the Third Reich was invested in constructing a narrative of sacred power and divine ancestry, with relics serving not only as symbols of past greatness, but also as imagined instruments of contemporary political and spiritual control. While many of the objects sought were never recovered, and some searches ended in frustration or failure, the effort itself reveals a regime obsessed with linking its power to both history and the supernatural, a combination of fanaticism, pseudoscience, and mysticism that remains one of the most enigmatic aspects of Nazi history.